Hi, I'm Tom Morgan, a Microsoft MVP based in the east of England in the UK. Now, I was at a developers conference here a couple of weeks ago and I bumped into Chris and I thought what he was saying was really interesting, so I wanted to get a couple of minutes with him. So, hi, Chris.
Hi Tom, how you doing?
So, first of all, what is I know you're big in the world of Blazor.
Yes.
What is Blazor? If I've never heard of Blazor before, I'm a developer, but I've not heard of Blazor.
Cool. So I think the elevator pitch would be Blazor is a SPA framework. It's new from Microsoft, and I think the most interesting part about it is it's built on a new technology and a new web standard called WebAssembly. And it means that we can actually now use C# to actually create client-side applications.
Okay, so let me back up a bit. So WebAssembly.
Yes.
So I know about SPAs, I know about React and Angular and stuff like that, right? Where's WebAssembly fit into the picture?
Cool. So WebAssemblies, it's more of a target, to be honest. So what WebAssembly is, it's a low-level bytecode, and you can compile to it. Now, what this means and why this is so exciting is because for the first time ever, it breaks the stranglehold of JavaScript on front end. So already there's multiple languages targeting WebAssembly, C# and Blazor, obviously. But you've also got Rust is a massive one. You can compile C++ to it. So it all of a sudden creates this swathe of options to front-end development, which has just never been there before.
Okay, that's interesting. So how does that work then? So you write your code in C#. Yep. And then that gets compiled. Is that right? Or how does that work?
Cool. So I'll talk in the context of Blazor because Blazor's slightly different. Okay. So what happens with Blazor is actually you write your C# code, but that doesn't actually currently get compiled to WebAssembly. It just gets compiled to bog standard DLLs. What currently happens is in the browser, Blazor runs on top of of the Mono .NET runtime, and that's been compiled to WebAssembly. Right. So in terms of the stack, you're running Mono compiled to WebAssembly. That then loads your C# DLLs and executes your C# code in the browser.
Okay, that's really cool, actually.
Yeah,
that's so you don't need. You can cut JavaScript out of the loop completely. C# developers can write C# all the way through, back end, front end. That's
pretty much, yeah. I mean, there are some caveats. Yeah. So WebAssembly is a very, very new standard. It's going through its early stages. There's still a lot of stuff to be added to it. One thing that's big with WebAssembly at the moment that you can't do, and that is DOM manipulation. So you do still need JavaScript to do DOM manipulation. You also still have to use JavaScript to interop with a lot of JavaScript APIs. So things like geolocation, local storage, things like that. What I think is cool though is if you wrap those, and there's already a plethora of NuGet packages available doing that, you actually don't have to worry about it. It's all the hard work's done for you. You can just deal with C# APIs and NuGet packages, and you actually don't have to write any JavaScript.
Oh, that's cool. Okay. So I saw last week Blazor 0.9 has been released.
Yes.
So it's not quite one, but is it ready to use? Like, should you use it in production?
So the official line, I'm going to side with Microsoft on this one, it is an experimental project still. There's another side to the Blazor project called Razor Components. That will ship with .NET Core 3, and that's a supported platform. That is something I think should probably be looked at more currently if you're looking to actually get to use this in something more production ready. But for the client side version Blazor, I think it's risky at the moment. It's very much a bleeding edge tech.
Cool.
So
okay. That's interesting. But if I want to try it out, not in production, if I want to try it out, what's the best place? How do I get started? What's the best thing to do?
Yep. So the easiest thing at the moment, I would head to blazor.net. That's got all the details there about how to get up and running with Blazor. At the moment, you're going to need the latest preview of .NET Core 3. You're going to need Visual Studio 2019, either the Preview 4 or the current RC. and you'll need the Blazor Language Services extension installed as well. But from that point forward, you can just do file new project, and it will build you up an application, hit go, and it's running.
Oh, awesome. And Blazor's an open source project, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
And so what's been your involvement in it then? Why are you here?
Yeah. I'll be honest, I found Blazor about a year ago. I watched a talk that Steve Sanderson gave at, I think it was NDC Oslo, where he showed C# running in the browser using a very compact, not very well known .NET runtime called .NET Anywhere. It was a bit of a dead project, but he kind of brought it back to life and gave this example, and I think that's what he used to pitch to Microsoft to actually get the Blazor project up and running. So I found it in sort of February, March of last year, and the Blazor 01 came out, I think, in about the 22nd of March, 2018, sorry. So I've had it in a year. I've just been going through each of the previews as they came out. We've got a very active community, especially on the Gitter channel. It's probably one of the most active Gitter channels I think I've ever seen, so there's lots going on there. Again, the issues, there's issues all over the place. People are really excited, so there's lots of issues coming up on GitHub. We're talking about them. Lots of community involvement.
And you've been contributing to the product as well?
Yes, yeah.
Since that point?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I've made a couple of little contributions here and there, some little document bits and things, but I help a lot out in the Gitter chat. I try to help people getting started. There's a lot of obviously newbie questions that are good to answer. I also blog a lot about it, so I've tried to find the pinch points for people where they're struggling to understand things and sort of create blog posts that hopefully clarify things for people.
And what's been your experience of really working on like an open source project that's also kind of Microsoft backed as well, right? So it's a weird new world we live in, right? This is Microsoft owned but being run open source. What's been your experience of that?
I think it's been fantastic. I mean, the interaction with the team, it's so cool to actually directly interact with the team who are building the product. Yeah. When you raise an issue on GitHub and all of a sudden Steve Sanderson answers, that's pretty cool. Yeah. Having that kind of access to the team is fantastic. And I certainly started my career in a time when Microsoft did not work this way. Knowing how they worked then and how they work now, this is a really, really nice change. And I really hope it continues to grow, because their open source attitude is, I think, making it even more popular than it was before.
Okay, and so where can people find out about you? Where do you blog?
So I have a blog at chrissainty.com. I'm also on Twitter at Chris_Sainty. And other than that, you'll find me in the Blazor Gitter channel. I'm in there all the time. So, yeah.
Fantastic. Well, if any of that sounds interesting, if you want to check out Blazor, check out Chris's blog posts. All the URLs I'll put in the description as well. Thanks very much for watching.